Welcome everybody to Zeta Global Radio. I am your host, Lainey Savante Wolkin. Thank you for being here today. Really important subject we're talking about, and sometimes we have to look at these powerful people in the world doing things that aren't in alignment with the integrity of all of us who really want to live a healthy life. And I really want to acknowledge our guest today. The first half of our show, we have director and writer Juliette Igier, who is French, and I hope I got that as close as I can. She's an independent journalist and filmmaker and producer. She's actually calling in from Argentina. And after working many years in French public TV, France television, she's done many things in the media world, and she's here today to talk about her film, Genetically Modified Children. Wow, what a film. So I'm going to go ahead and just invite her right onto the airwaves. Thank you all for being here today. Really important and a tough subject. Juliette, thank you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you to you. Hello, everybody, and thank you to you to invite me to this conversation.
Absolutely. So I watched your film yesterday here on Sunday, and I just was astounded because this is not a new topic, particularly the topic of your film, which is talking about what is causing illness in the region. Is this where you're from or where you live? Is this how you discovered what is going on with Glyphosate and Monsanto and Roundup? Is this how you discovered it, or you knew this was going on? Because this is in Argentina.
Yes, I knew that something was happening, but actually I discovered it very casually. I mean, I was having holiday there in this place, which is in the north of the country, in the limit of Brazil and Paraguay, and I suddenly figured out that the children of the white people were sick. A lot were sick, and the indigenous people, the originary people, which are Guarani, was not sick. So it was like, why these children are having problem, and what the other no. So I asked around, and some people told me that's because of the product they are using, the white people, the farmer, when they grow tobaccos. So, and because the originally people, Guarani people, are not using this product. That was the children of the Guarani was not sick. So that's that's how everything began. I then meet a person who told me to go to a woman who was very inner in the region, and because she was distributing some wheelchair to people, to children which has physical problem. So I went to the house of this woman, and she began to show me photos. She told me that it was horrible what was happening, and nobody was talking about that. So she showed me the photos. The photos were awful. All where the photography was from very little child, and very hard photos. So I decided to investigate, and then I become to make phone call to doctors, to families, and then I went there, and then I think the most hard part was to try to sell the film. Nobody wanted to know, but children having such problems.
Well, thank you for that. And, well, you obviously did get the funding, and I think it's so important because what you're showing us in this film is that not only is what is happening there to the food crops, tobacco, and then people, of course, Philip Morris and others, as you're showing in the film, are buying these crops, and people are now having toxicity, which we know is in cigarettes. But now going to food, you also showed wheat, corn, soy, everything. So what is happening there? The question is, what you saw there is what is happening all over the world with the food supply, correct?
Yeah. And everywhere when we don't have access to biologic food, I mean to agroecology, which is the case here in Argentina, because Argentina chose this models of, using toxics and having monoculture from soy, for example, and these choices are very terrible for the population, because we cannot find any food in good quality. I mean, every food we eat is contaminated, including the meat. I mean, the meat here in Argentina, which is the country for beef, and are contaminated because they are eating the cow are eating
the grass, right?
The soy. No, they are not eating anymore grass. Now they are eating the soy, and the soy with all the GMO soy. So everything is contaminated.
Wow. And what about the water supply?
Well, the water supply in this place also. The water, obviously, because they grow everything, and they threw the pesticide in the soil, and then that's go to the water. So not maybe in the big city, but I think there is a study when people do the study to see how much they have of the level are higher than the normal level we should have, like five more higher. And well, that's a problem here in Argentina. Nobody is talking about that, but we have a lot of cancer, leukemia, all the problem who directly came from the food and the water we have here at our disponibility.
How many people are doing organic farming at home, like private farming?
Very little, because here the land begins to big farmers. I mean, and because of the soy boom in 2006, every little farmer sell the land to big ones, and so there is very little people who can do that. All is soy, and soy.
Wow. The story, the part of the movie that was so powerful, I mean, everything obviously was. It was wow. And the one scene about how all the farmers line up to sell their tobacco on the one day, and they look for the tobacco that looks so pretty and unburned, and of course that's the tobacco that's been treated. And these poor farmers walk away with nothing, and they've got the natural product. I mean, it was just there was like no way out of this terrible cycle.
No way out, because they need to continue growing tobaccos to have the social security, and because
yes,
they are sick, they need the social security. So if they don't have that, they cannot access to hospitals or to doctors, and sometimes they are so bad. I mean, the liver, they have to have transplantation. They have a lot of sickness, very important, not only the child, but also themselves. So they cannot quit growing tobaccos.
So just let me rephrase that. So basically, to get medical insurance, they only get that through the big companies, and so the same companies that they are feeling are making them sick. So that's the cycle.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. And has your film has just come out? Is it starting to make some positive waves?
Well, here in Argentina, it's very difficult. I mean, it has not been released here in Argentina because there is a kind of, how do you say that, omerta, which is, nobody wants to talk about that. So I hope that the diffusion outside Argentina, I mean in France, in Germany, now in United States, can help.
So we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back more with Juliette and genetically modified children. You're listening to Zeta Global Radio. We'll be back in a moment. Conscious businesses. Do you have a powerful prayer, meditation, affirmation, audiobook, or music that you're ready to bring to the global stage? Have you considered taking your enlightened gifts to the next level by recording them professionally so the world can hear your knowledge and wisdom? Enlightened Audio and Sound is your production source for taking your talents and making them and you known all over the planet. Record in a magical setting with the expertise of renowned music engineer, composer, and recording artist Howard Merlin Wolkin. Will not only assist you in developing a concept that can be recorded with top-level commercial quality, but will also assist you in bringing your media asset to market in a variety of mediums, including digitally to iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, and thousands of more outlets. To learn more, visit our Facebook page, Enlightened Audio and Sound, about bringing your business and career to new heights.
Spiritual Communities Network, where we honor the uniqueness in our oneness. Visit our website to meet our vast spiritual community of healers, therapists, conscious events, and activities. Visit and check out our directory, upcoming retreats, workshops, products, free videos, and much more. Many services are available globally by phone, Skype, and other sources of media. You'll also find more information on how you can be a member to promote the work you're doing in the world. Visit us now at spiritualcommunitiesnetwork.com.
Hi everyone, Lainey Savante here. Listen, you are invited to the 2018 Mutual UFO Network Symposium taking place July 27th through 29th in Cherry Hill, New Jersey next month. Titled UFOs, Extraterrestrials, and the Future of Humanity, this symposium is expanding the consciousness of the UFO topic with an entire weekend of knowledge focusing on awakening enlightened attendees to the full possibilities and truths that exist. There'll be multiple film screenings, lectures on science and technologies, and also discussions on transhumanism. Join multiple lectures by speakers, including globally known Travis Walton, who had a direct encounter in 1975 and is known from his movie Fire in the Sky. 2 free Saturday workshops are available, as well as walk-in student discounts. So to learn more, visit www.mufonsymposium.com. MUFON is MUFON. Welcome back to ZGR. Thank you so much for tuning in today. We are really, it's a really tough subject. It must be, as a documentary filmmaker, for you to be right there and to see what is happening. It's very different for people who read about it on Facebook, or they read about it and they see it. It's not the same when you're experiencing it in your communities. And unfortunately, this is happening everywhere around the world. And a lot of people are in denial, and the ones who are not in denial feel helpless because they don't have the power of these big companies who've got billions of dollars to fight it. So are you seeing there that people are starting to rise up? Are they starting to, just like in the movie, start to come together? Or what are you seeing? I mean, I think your movie is so important that everybody sees it.
Yeah, I mean, no, I think the people don't want to open the eyes because we don't have any option. If you know that you can buy some organic food or so you can maybe you have the choice, but here we don't have access to anything of that, and also because people are very poor here. I mean, and they buy the industrial food in the supermarket. Don't have any control about that. They don't have maybe also the culture we have in France with the food. I mean, in France, everybody cook and you look for a good product, and it's very important. Here, people are mostly eating meat and very little vegetable, and so they go and they eat what they have in the supermarkets. And it's they don't want I mean, the press here, TVs or newspaper, they never speak about the problem we have in health because of these GMOs, and there is a big secret about that. They don't want to hear about that because some mostly of them, they receive money from this company, the big companies, because of the advertisement, and so they cannot speak, they cannot say anything about it. So I don't think there is a rising up or people are realizing. Maybe now they are more informed. I mean, they know that there is some toxicity in with some product like the Roundup. I mean, the Glyphosate, and also they hear about GMOs, but we are very far away. We are very far away.
Wow.
I mean,
do you think, is there any reports or studies that you've seen on how much, or very much, I should say, how little does it take to cause dis-ease or illness? Is it a small amount, or it takes an extreme amount of buildup? I just wondered if there's studies that show that, if they can even tell, like how much exposure starts to turn it a different direction into illness.
Well, official study we don't have any because it was like forbidden. So we have some studies which are made by actually physician and medical, that the doctors who just found out that it was more spontaneous abortion, more cancer, more everything was getting higher and higher. But
the rates, yeah.
Any reference, because no study were done by the states or, I mean, with or the Ministry of Health. So this is partial studies, but every doctors in the place where they are the big cultivation, the big culture, soy or tobacco or whatever, maize, and they all say the same. It's bigger and higher and higher. I mean, we don't have a big problem, a health problem, because the hospital are getting too small for all these people getting hit.
Wow. How often, now with the movie that's come out, are you going and traveling and meeting people at different parts of the world? Or what's it like on the film side of it now that this has come out for you? Because now I would think you kind of see a bigger picture, not just in Argentina, but you're going to hear stories in all the different places this film is being shown.
Yeah, I mean, actually, I've been working on 3 more documentaries about this these matters, no, since we filmed this one, and also it was selected by the Figura, which is a very important festival in France. So it has a kind of resonance in the world. But I mean, as a journalist, I have to keep working and keep investigating about all these matters, because I mean, we don't have a lot of time. And so yes, I'm very happy, because little time ago some a tobacco grower just made their own projection of the film in a very little place, but I mean, and all the village went to see the movie, which is very important, because these people, they don't go to cinema, or they don't have access to internet, so the film has to go to the village, and it's not so easy, because it's a very big country and a very poor possibility also for all these village.
If in this moment we can ask our listeners to help in any way, what would you like them to do? How can they serve? How can they be of service to support the work that you're doing in these people who are being so sadly affected?
Well, if they can talk about the film and I mean, maybe pass the links with the trailers and talk about it. Maybe, I mean, I think information has to get to the people here, and for that the people outside must talk about it. It's like this because our politicians, they don't want to see anything. I mean, I sent my film to 3 deputy of this region, Misiones, and nobody told me, even I receive it, I will see it. So I think when there is a kind of noise made outside of the country, it is very good, because they react. The people who decide here, they react. But if not, I mean, we are still in the same. So
yeah,
to talk about it and maybe to be supportive of the family. I don't know how exactly we can do that, but maybe just pray for this family.
Well, this is a very spiritual community who listen to this show, so absolutely we can send prayers. We can absolutely come together and really ask that, the planet and the people who are on this planet raise in their consciousness levels, and together really, like you said, informing everyone. Knowledge is power, and we need to really show that this isn't something that's going away. It's actually getting worse. So we need to take more ownership of ourselves and what we're eating, as well as our brothers and sisters, no matter where they are, because we're all one. So prayers we can do. And if there's something that comes up down the road, someone wants to make a donation and you find that there's a way to do that, let us know. But it's important for us. We do many film interviews on this show, and we want to showcase the ones that probably may not have as much airtime somewhere else. Not all the time is the case, but I've heard even people with famous people in their movies, and they're talking about something political, that they're just not getting the response from the media. So they need to have alternative media streams like this, and we're very glad to support you. This is so important and passionate that we take care of our fellow human beings. So I'm really grateful that you came on the show today.
Thank you very much to give me this space to talk about the film, and to be able to communicate to the people over there that they can do little. I mean, maybe don't buying this product made by these companies. Also, it's a way to make pressure on them.
Yeah.
And to be conscious. I think consciousness is very important. I mean, for all humanity. And so to be able to to be in a better world, we have to be conscious. That's the only way.
There you go. Well, for people who want to learn more, and I hope everyone listening does, how can they learn more about this film and the work that you're doing?
Yeah, they can go to the website, the Facebook page for the film, obviously. They can, write to me through Facebook if they need more information, if they need study. I have a lot of documents I can send them, some in English, some in Spanish, so I will be glad to give the information about what's happening here. They can find me easily by my name in Facebook.
Okay.
And just send me a little message, tell me what you need exactly, and I will do that.
Beautiful. Yes. Yay. Well, in this case, Facebook's doing an amazing job in getting the word out. So yes, everyone go to Genetically Modified Children Facebook. You could talk to Juliette there. And I thank you so much for being here today. I'm really grateful. I wish you the best in all ways, and I'm sending many, many prayers to all those families. Although we're so far away, let them know that we're thinking of them.
Yeah, thank you, Lenny. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, when we come back, we will be in touch with a registered dietitian, Shelley A Rael, who is also going to shed the light and her perspective on genetically modified food products. We'll be back in a moment. Trice Massage Therapy and Skincare is Southwest Florida's premier holistic and wellness spa to relax and rejuvenate your well-being. Founded by Lucille Trice, this enlightened haven located in Cape Coral offers a variety of massage therapies including Swedish, deep tissue, and trigger point massage. Trice offers detoxifying body wraps and facials using natural organic ingredients to pamper your skin and restore balance and health. Visit their Trice Massage Therapy and Skincare Facebook page or call 239-672-0526 and book your experience today. Mention ZGR and receive a complimentary ionic foot detox experience. Welcome to the Natural Awakenings Northern New Mexico July issue. Natural Awakenings feature articles share the important health benefits of organic farming. They are also proud to present exclusive interviews with Grandmother Florida Mayo and several of other indigenous grandmothers and inform you about important alternative options to opioids for pain relief. A lot of amazing events are happening this month that will help you connect to other like-minded people in your community. Be sure to check out the calendar and relish in the cosmic connection with your fellow New Mexicans. May we all be inspired this month to look at the bigger picture. If you like to market your business or services with Natural Awakenings, New Mexico's leading wellness magazine that reaches thousands of health and wellness conscious readers, please email publisher at naturalawakeningsnmm.com or call Andrea at 505-999-1319. Welcome back to ZGR. We are talking about GMOs today. Thank you for tuning in. So now we got a sense of what's happening in Argentina. And as I was saying, that it's happening pretty much all over the world, except for the countries who've made specific mandates that said there's no way that we're going to allow GMOs or anything that can affect crops other than their natural state to be allowed. And thank you to many countries who are doing that. So now we're in the U.S., and we're going to talk here right now with a wonderful, wonderful registered dietitian, Shelley A Rael out of Albuquerque, New Mexico, who has been a registered dietitian and nutritionist for a very long time. She's also a professional speaker. She speaks about the quest for energy and stamina and the common nutrition myths that block us from getting where we need to be. And I think this is absolutely the perfect conversation to now go into further understanding of GMOs, because I suspect there are probably some people out there who don't even know exactly still what a GMO is and how it's nutritionally impacting our body, although we just gave some horrific, unfortunately, examples Now we're going to talk further. Welcome to the show, Shelley A Rael. So glad to have you here.
Thank you so much, Lainey. Glad to be on the show today.
So I thought, as I just did that intro for you, that we would share, let's just start off sharing a little bit about your background. And my interest in having you on the show is having somebody who's passionate about educating people on how to live better in their lives. So go for it, Shelley. Let's tell people how to be better in their lives.
Well, I won't start early in my life, but I grew up with my mom feeding us pretty much healthy, and I never understood how much that impacted my life and my health until I left home and did not eat as healthy as my mom had raised me. And through a series of many events in my life in the college years and early 20s, realizing how much it had an impact. So I came back full circle to the way my mom raised me and decided I wanted to major in nutrition, become a registered dietitian. Even though it turns out there's a lot of science to it, and that was not my strength, I forged forward because I thought it was just so important to educate people about nutrition and how it has an impact on our health. Now, through my schooling and in graduate school, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with the degree, but what turned out to be my favorite thing was that I worked in the area of wellness. I was in an employee wellness program for many years, and from that point of view, I was able to work with people before they got sick, before they had significant health issues. In some situations, people are already sick before they realize nutrition has an impact. And there are dietitians that work in that area, and that's their expertise. I like to help people stay well or reduce their disease risk through nutrition before it happens. And I will mention that I do have a lot of family history of disease, cancer specifically, but other chronic diseases. So I always tell people I use my lifestyle to just fight that off as long as possible, and maybe it won't ever happen, but that's the way I come from things, is recognizing that we can do a lot today to help our health before something goes downhill, so to speak.
I think that's huge. First off, you totally reminded me of my mother. When I was growing up, she said to me, she always looked at labels. I grew up in a total hippie family. We hung out and did tarot cards. That's probably why I'm a tarot reader now. I've been around psychic and esoteric living my whole life. But she would read labels, and she would look at me, and she would say, more than 3, leave it be. And to this day, I can't believe I say that to my own children, that same philosophy. So I kind of put a smile to my face. But the question I have now for you, Shelley, is how can you trace back in your either career, it's got to be career because it's definitely not when we were younger. When's the first time we started hearing the word GMO or something that is considered genetically modified? Does it seem like a long time ago? Or tell us, in your mind, when you remember it first coming on to awareness for the public?
I would have to say it wasn't until into the 21st century. I hadn't really thought about when I first heard that, but it was not something that in my memory, I would say it would be in the last 15 years, and that's just a speculation on my part, because I don't remember, we didn't learn about it in school, but I don't know, in college I should say, I don't remember that coming up, but I don't even know if it was something that was really out in the general public awareness at that point. And just recognize that in the science community, there's a lot going on behind the scenes before it becomes into our consciousness or awareness. There's a lot there that we just aren't aware of until it becomes a thing, and that's something. So I would just have to say, guessing, like I said, in the last 15 years or so, but it's plus or minus 5 years.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I myself, as we had talked about, I have a degree in food science and food chemistry in the 90s, and that was not talked about. So being that the case, it's got to be later 90s or definitely in the 2000s. But now that it's here, it is obviously a major, major concern for people who want to live healthier. Do you want to talk about what exactly a GMO is and why it has adverse effects on the body? Is that something you could speak to, just to give people a little 101 education on GMOs? We know how we know where they come from. We just had a discussion about chemicals that alter natural ways of growing, but more so about what does that mean, next steps, ingesting and digesting.
Right. Now, that from the food chemist side of thing, I can really not get into the details about what they are exactly, but
sure, and that's not necessary either.
and my general understanding and how I explain it to the public is that it is a manipulation or adjustment within the DNA of we'll just stick with plants, so that it can be resistant to a disease or survive adverse weather conditions or survive things that damage crops, or in some situations it will help to destroy or kill off a weed that may overgrow and prevent certain crops from growing. So the term genetically modified organism, or GMO, is what a lot of people are hear about. And not everybody even knows what GMO stands for. But really, behind the scenes, a lot of us just refer to it as genetic engineering. And it's a similar idea there, but it's really helping to adjust or adjusting something within the DNA to make a change, and most often for the positive. So let me give an example. The first crop that was manipulated or had genetic engineering as part of it was the papaya in Hawaii. I think it was the University of Hawaii, but I may be wrong on that.
Wow, I never knew this.
Right. The papaya was almost obliterated. We wouldn't have had papaya because of a specific disease that was killing off the papaya crops. And so with the genetic engineering, they were able to adjust something within the papaya that made it resistant to that disease, and therefore we still have papaya. We still have papaya today, which I was recently with some people, and they were just loving papaya. They'd never had it before. And I didn't say anything, but part of me wanted to say, we still have this fruit because it was saved by making it resistant to this disease that almost killed it completely.
And I'm glad you brought that up. That truly is the conundrum, because I was having this conversation the other day about the farmer side of it, where they have all these odds stacked against them, and they have a wheat crop, let's just say, and that wheat crop's their entire survival. So if a windstorm, a tornado, or hurricane, well, not hurricane, depending on where the crop is, but let's just say, any major storm comes through, they're destroyed. So when someone says to them, well, we have a way to make your wheat hardier, stronger, resistant to damage, it can sway better, or whatever it can, wouldn't that be great? And you have a guarantee that you will have food to put on your table. I mean, I totally understand and compassionate about that. And then there's the flip side, and whatever is making it stronger and harder to resist a major storm, how is that assimilating in the body? And I think that is the major conundrum.
Right. And part of me does say, I'll just say this, I cannot even keep herbs alive. I am always grateful for other people who grow the food for me, because I would starve to death, and that's just my little issue right there. And recognizing that I had a friend who just posted on social media recently that she lost all the squash in her backyard because the animals came and ate it. It's like, that sucks, but that was her personal backyard, not her livelihood. So I can appreciate that an entire month's worth of work or several months worth of work is not destroyed by, like you said, some adverse weather condition, or even pests like, I don't know, grasshoppers or some kind of bug that I don't even know what it is destroys an entire crop, not just affecting the farmer, but our ability to have food, not just in our country, but globally. And there is just this, like you said, the conundrum there of, if this isn't something we have, we would probably not be able to feed the world on a day-to-day basis. And I think back to the stories in the Bible where they talk about the 7 years of famine, and I'm thinking, could you imagine not having adequate food for 7 years? And that's the challenge there, recognizing that not everybody is comfortable with this tweaking of the DNA, the genetic engineering that would allow the crop to survive, not completely, but be resistant to some of these things that damage it. Where is that balance of feeding people, having an entire world being able to be fed? And again, also, like you said, from the farmer's perspective as well, I don't want to undermine that, versus the potential issue that could come up, because this is such a new thing relative to things in the world. Okay, so this is something that is a relatively, I think the papaya was in the mid-1990s. So this is something that is pretty new in the scheme of our life. And I understand that people are fearful of what that impact can be. But I also want to mention that most of the time, the biggest issue with chemicals, or I should say herbicides or pesticides or insecticides that are applied to the food that is being grown, is the biggest impact would be on the person who is applying the chemical. And what is in the food isn't a huge quantity there. So we've got to put it in perspective.
I'm just going to mention we're going to take a quick break, and let's talk more about that. I think what you've just said, sums up our first half of the show, which is exactly showing the impact of what is happening in Argentina. All right, you're listening to ZGR. More on GMOs with Lainey and Shelley. We'll be back in a moment. Hi everyone, Lainey Savante Wolken here, and I warmly invite you to join me, as well as Esther Miner, who's an intuitive medium, Reiki therapist, and meditation guide, along with Chantal Fanak, who is a hypnotist, life coach, and Reiki master, for a day of celebration. And that celebration is of you. We invite you to let go, relax, and find a sense of self within. You are invited to join us for a full day of enlightened experiences to remind you of the peace, harmony, and freedom that you already have. You'll be inspired and excited in renewed belief systems as you engage in meditation, Reiki, hypnosis, tarot, music, nature, community, and sacred wisdom. Space is limited, and we invite you to register now by going to soulwarrior44.com. Your renewed you awaits. Hi, Lainey Savante here, and I'd love for you to visit my new Facebook page for my private tarot and oracle session readings called Intuitive Wisdom. That's IN2UITIVE Wisdom. Conscious strategies for manifesting a more harmonious life. Don't we all want to have that? Let's see what's in the cards for you as we look at what needs to be cleared, expanded upon, and evolved. There's a lot to explore when we take a deeper look inside ourselves. Hi, Lainey Savante Wolken here, and I'm so excited to announce that the Holistic Chamber of Commerce is now up and running in both Cape Coral and Fort Myers in Southwest Florida. If you are looking to be part of an organization and represent excellence in holistic and sustainable mediums and businesses, we'd love to have you be part of who we are. Go to holisticchamberofcommerce.com/Cape Coral or holisticchamberofcommerce.com/Fort Myers and learn all about what we are doing here in the beautiful land of paradise. So we shared off air. I do that all the time, and then I bring it on air. about with Shelley and I about the fear factor. And there is a tremendous amount of fear today when we go shopping. And I myself am an organic eater. I'm very, very clean with my food. I don't eat anything with GMOs for all the reasons that we've stated or haven't stated today. This is just not long enough of a show to get into the greater topic. And like you said earlier, Shelley, we'd need to bring chemists and full-on doctors to explain even more metabolically of what is happening. But I do know, as we said, there is fear. So tell us more about that in the world of organics and non-organics and GMOs and all that good stuff.
Well, I want to say this in that from a nutritional perspective. So if we looked at the nutritional profile, and I'm just going to go with my standard apple here, looked at the nutritional profile of an apple that was conventionally grown, an apple that was organically grown, and while there are no GMO apples on the market right now, actually there's one coming that won't brown as quickly, but that's another aspect. So if we had all three of those apples together, those three differently grown apples, nutritionally speaking, they have virtually the same nutrition profile. So the same amount of calories, the same vitamins, minerals, fiber, etc. Now, of course, there's variance among just fruit in general, but that would be the example. So nutritionally speaking, you're getting the same nutrients out of it. What tends to happen with fear when people are afraid of things, afraid of pesticides, or afraid of something having GMO in it, then they don't eat it at all. And so what tends to happen is people completely avoid fruits and vegetables or certain types of fruits and vegetables because of the fear that they have about it, when in fact they're doing more harm by not eating any, or I shouldn't say harm, but they're not getting any benefit by excluding that from their diet. I'd rather somebody have an apple that is conventionally grown if they can't afford or can't have access to organically grown produce.
When you said, when you said conventionally grown, are we referring to just a regular non-organic or or one that potentially will be coming on the market that will be GMO? Like, just so I'm clear for the audience.
Right. Conventionally grown just means the apple orchard is growing apples and they're growing it in the traditional way, or what the word means, conventionally grown way. They haven't gone through an entire process of certifying their orchard as organic. They aren't using alternative pesticides. So organically grown produce or organically grown food can have pesticides, just not synthetic pesticides. A lot of people don't realize that. So conventionally grown just mean it's the old-fashioned way, so to speak, where they're trying to keep the crops from being destroyed by any type of pest that would come on. Also, organically grown food cannot have GMO in it. So if you're buying something that's organically grown, then it will not be GMO. That's a given. That's part of the definition of organic.
And I think the biggest area of not concern, but I would say widely known areas that have been hit would be the wheat or the corn crops. What do you think?
Well, wheat is not GMO. There is no GMO wheat out on the market. There just isn't at all.
Okay.
That's not available for human consumption, not available for livestock consumption. GMO wheat is not something that's out there. So GMO corn is something that is out there. It's one of the biggest crops that is genetically modified. But some of the corn, a lot of the corn that we may eat, like for example, popcorn is not a genetically engineered corn. That is traditional corn. And some of the sweet corn that we get is not, or a lot of the sweet corn that we get, the stuff we may be buying to grill this summer, is not genetically engineered corn either. A lot of it is used for livestock feed or other ingredients within foods.
I did not know that. In fact, when I take my kids to the movies, I'm like, you're not having popcorn. You're not having a box of GMO with butter. I didn't even know that. That's great to know.
And a lot of people don't realize that. That's a common thing that people are not aware of. But yeah, there is no such thing as a GMO popcorn, right? No such thing as GMO popcorn. no such thing as GMO wheat, which brings us to another thing is the GMO Project Verified. It's a label that's on a lot of foods. And what is frustrating is, to me, is I see that label on foods that would not have any genetically modified crop or ingredient in it anyway.
That's the fear factor.
Right. So I'm gonna mention a wheat cracker, Triscuits. I'll just say Triscuits now has, not Triscuits, yes, correct, sorry, Triscuits, has on their package GMO Project Verified. So they're saying they don't have any GMO in their food, which even the GMO Project Verified website does say deep down in the Q&A that they can't guarantee anything. It's just a label. And then the store brand version of the same type of cracker doesn't have the label of GMO Project Verified. So people will jump to this conclusion, because this is human nature, that the one that doesn't have the label on it does have GMOs in it, when in fact it doesn't, because that too does not have any ingredients in it that would be GMO.
That is such a great awareness. No, I'm so glad you're saying that. I had that same experience. Well, I had that awareness myself the other day while shopping. I went through a row of tortilla chips, corn chips. Tortilla chips made out of corn. And I went through one, and then I stopped at this one. It said non-GMO organic tortilla chip. And I thought, well, does that mean that every other tortilla chip in this aisle was made with GMO corn? We don't know that, one way or the other.
Correct. And something I want to mention briefly on organic as well, and I share this, I teach at the community college, I share this with students as well as everybody I can. The organic certification is a pretty lengthy and expensive process to go through. It requires a lot of lawyers and other government paperwork to have a farm or ranch become certified organic. And so there's a lot of people who are growing their food organically but don't have the certification. So I also want to mention that just because a food may not have that certification of organic doesn't mean it may not be grown organically. So the example that I use is right now in my neighborhood, we've got peaches and plums and apricots everywhere. Nobody has done anything except for the trees are in their yard. No, I know they haven't put pesticides or anything on it. They just have their trees. So theoretically, those are organic foods because nothing's been applied to them. But nobody's gone through any process of certifying it. And if we went to a store or a farmer's market or a grower's market, we couldn't say that it was organic, even though theoretically it is. Does that make sense?
Yeah, mind blown. I was at the farmer's market, and the farmer's market here in Florida is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, we've got mangoes. I mean, everything that's tropical is here. So I went through, say, 6 booths, and I said, is any of this organic? No. 1 out of the 6 booths had 2 or 3 things there that they said, which I think was the celery, said this is organic. They said, but all of this was made local. So what does that tell you? It means that A, it's local and they're using pesticides because they're small and they can't afford to lose their crops, or B, that it's less dangerous because it wasn't commercialized. What do you think?
And it could mean that they are just growing it in their yard. They may not be using pesticides, or their yard or their field, their home, whatever it may be, and they just aren't going to go through all the cumbersome paperwork. And my opinion is that it's cumbersome, the paperwork to go through the process of inspections and that sort of thing. So you may just want to ask them next time, what kind of pesticides do you use? And again, to clarify, certified organic can use pesticides. They can, they do. It's just a different type. It's not synthetic, but they do use pesticides, and that's a common misunderstanding as well. So I would say ask the person at the grower's market, do you spray this with any type of pesticide? If so, what kind? Because they may be growing it organically. Just because it's such a small scale operation, and it may just be a family, they may not have the resources to go through the certification process. I know somebody locally who does that. She grows organically, but she just has not gone through the process because she also has a full-time job aside from that, and she just doesn't have the time or resources to do that.
So we have about a minute left. If you want to just sum up sort of what we can help our listeners glean from this, because it could, I understand clearly it could be confusing, and we want people to be safe. We don't want people to go through what has happened, and I really encourage everyone to see this film, Genetically Modified Children, and what we can offer them, and then how people can learn more about you and the beautiful work that you're doing to help keep people healthy.
Sure. I want to tell people to recognize that food is fuel and important for our body, especially fruits and vegetables. It's very important. I find a lot of people don't eat enough of it. And recognize that while having something that is organic is certainly an option people can choose, I would still encourage people to choose to eat fruits and vegetables and other healthy foods and not get too focused on the label that it comes with, like organic or non-GMO, and rather just put it in perspective. If you were eating 33 apples every day, then I would just be wondering about many other things, but recognize there's benefits to fruits and vegetables even if they're not certified organic. So recognize that specific thing is better for you. I encourage people to eat healthy and not get too bogged down in the details. I'd rather people to eat healthy, and once they're in those habits, then we can work on the details of things if necessary. I work with people to help them set up a plan of action for themselves so they can have a way of eating and fueling their body throughout the day. I have a website, ShelleyRael.com, and that's the way to find out a lot about me. I'm on all the various social media handles as well. But ShelleyRael.com is where people can find me. My email is there and all the information, including my philosophy about food.
Wonderful. Shelley, thank you. Thank you for being here today and sharing your wisdom and knowledge. And I've learned a lot myself. And I hope everyone who listens in today really got a chance to take it in, really understand this is a global conversation. That's why we bring it up here on Zeta Global Radio. And I look forward to everybody staying healthy, being healthy, mind, body, and spirit. Thanks again, Shelley. And we wish everyone an incredibly blessed, healthy, and prosperous week. Take care.